Yo, yo, what's up with you? What's up with you? Yo. I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes, or not a few minutes, a few seconds to get on, and then I'm gonna start running my mouth because uh, I got a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna come back and talk about it later because I got a call in less than 21 minutes, but I got something I need to say to y'all. Uh, so I want to make sure that people hear what I gotta say, and also know that I'm gonna come back later and talk about this in its entirety about what it means and what we got going on right now and why we need to be making sure that we are paying attention more than ever right now with what's going on in our lives. So, real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the fact that I want people to understand that we are in a moment as black people. As black people, this is again. I need to remind people when we talk about as black people in this moment, when we center blackness, we do it justice not just to black people. We do it justice to everybody that understands what's happening in these United States at this moment. Because what they're doing for black people, they'll eventually use to weaponize against not just black folk, but folk who stand up for black folk, folk who are also marginalized, and also white people that are acting as allies. All of those are true. So we need to make sure that we understand this moment and why we keep talking about black people, because we put it squarely on those who are suffering the most in this moment. So I want people to understand that's what I'm talking about. We're not excluding other people in this call, but it is about our people and how it's affecting us in this moment. So hear me and hear me clearly when I talk about the dangers in this message and this moment. Turn my head around because it's serious business, serious business. The danger right now, our danger for black people that seems that some of us are missing is pretending. When black people are pretending that this is the first time we've faced organized racism, it does a few things to us. The first thing it does is it disconnect us from lessons that we've learned during previous battles with white supremacy. These are the lessons of our own history, the ones that I'm talking about right now, our own history. These are those lessons that we should all, black people, those who care about black people, these are verses that we should be well versed in, whether they were taught in classrooms or not, whether they are acknowledged by any pedagogical theme or not, because those lessons, the ones I'm talking about, aren't remembered from wrought processes and practices. These are ones that were not learned through mechanical repetitions without meaning or logic. Instead, these are lessons. This is a history that was taught to us by scars, both mental and physical scars. Think about hearing for the first time that black girls, little black girls, were bombed in church simply for being black. Think about watching Roots over and over again, year after year. Think about finding out that Tamir Rice was 12 years old and Emmett Till was 14, and they were both killed like they were prisoners of war and they were held by a captive of an inhumane regime. These are the histories. These are the lessons that are not subject to change through misinformation or disinformation. These are the black learnings that can't be untaught. That's what happened when we pretend that we just got here. The second danger in this false flagging is that it sets us up for repeating old mistakes instead of learning from past strategies, institutions, and resistance. We should pretend, I should say, we should not pretend that we didn't watch white supremacy kill Dr. King and Malcolm X in the same violent way, make both of them boogie monsters to the white way of life. We watched it. We watched it. We know it's true. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that King was a man of peace and Malcolm X, Minister Malcolm X, said by any means necessary. They both were made boogie monsters. We didn't take from them by trying to integrate schools in the South, yet they still spat in the face of little black kids, the brightest black kids. When we ignore these truths, when we ignore these most important realities, we give space to us elevating certain black folk for being nicer or more palatable, when we should only be elevating people, voices that have articulated a willingness to do whatever it takes to move the needle for the lives of black people. This does not suggest that we all need to be the same or our methods need to be the same. It does, however, suggest that we should only be elevating black people that have and show a love for blackness and a call for black equity. These must be the grounding principles for anyone who dare call themselves a leader of our community. The moment we start elevating folk for any other reasons, they're famous, whatever reason, we begin to question or give space to question people's motive. We find ourselves in this moment right now because we've elevated so many nice and proper Negroes who cared more about how people felt about them and also about getting another invite to those people's space, that they forgot to care more about what white supremacy was doing to black people. And lastly, the greatest danger of black folk pretending that we are here for the first time is that it creates a political amnesia amongst our people. And in that state, in that mental state where we are pretending everything is related to now and not connected to the past, we allow stupid shit like famous people to sacrifice our kids while they and their wealthy friends can stay comfortable. Famous people get to tell us that there's no difference between the Democratic Party and Republican Party because they picked up a book for the first time about politics and they read the first chapter and didn't bother to finish the book and want to jump online and act like they said something radical, i.e. Nick Cannon's stupid ass. We are not a people that have the luxury of pretending we are not. We are not a people that have the luxury of ever forgetting that racism is now and it was. We are a people that must understand that this backlash in this moment is historically consistent with every backlash to black advancement. Think how Reconstruction was the fertile womb to birth black codes and Jim Crow and racial terror, a period when more black people were elected across the South. We had voting rights, land ownership, access to public education that was funded, and also political participation. Then with no warning, we got Wilmington, North Carolina, Rosewood, Florida, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the Klan began to lynch black folk, especially black men, like it was a sport, like it was baseball. They turned prisons into the new birthing grounds for slavery through convict leasing. Nixon and Reagan created a Republican Party that saw the power of tapping into racism and how it could win elections by building anxiety in white folk who were worried about what it meant to give black folks civil rights. Then you got Obama with his smart black ass. And you don't got to read the research that proved that he created fear and racial polarization intensified after his presidency, because it's obvious in the number of restricting voting laws we've seen since he was elected. This insatiable appetite for voter ID, the reduction of polling location in black spaces, the purging of voting rolls in states with large black populations. And now, the gutting of the voting rights as we know it by this illegitimate Supreme Court that gave us a new form of separate but equal, like the Supreme Court of past. So just like that Supreme Court successfully made black people second-class citizens, so has John Roberts' Supreme Court. So no, I don't want our first viral strategy to be that black kids Black college athletes should sacrifice their future with all the resources we have at our fingertips. We cannot come up with a tactic that's better than putting our kids on the chopping block. Can we create a political strategy that wins election, not just for Black folk, but win election that change the conditions of the life of Black folk? Can we create institutions like our ancestor did that served us in this moment? Institutions like the NAACP, the Black Church, and other orgs that serve brothers and sisters and Black folk of the past? So I'm telling you all, right in this moment, this is a call that we all Black people need to hear. We are at the point of protest, mass protest. And I only ask, do you partner with those trying to fight to end the ways of the proverbial plantation, or do you sit silent and share all of our tactics with white people who are trying to hold us in plantation mode? What will you wind up in this moment? What side are you fighting on? Right now, the vote, the Black vote, is the Underground Railroad in 2026. The vote is not the cure for everything that ails America. That is not what I'm suggesting. The vote is not the answer to everything, but it is how we show these motherfuckers that it is not. It does not matter how they draw districts, how they paint lines, how they color states. We will not be silent partners in our own destruction. It is exactly that. It is exactly that. And we start now by acknowledging that there's been a call for people, all people, not just Black people, all people from across this country who care about the current treatment of Black people and the attacks on our voting rights from the Supreme Court and this administration. And that call is for this weekend, this coming weekend, for us to show up in Alabama, the place where that birthed us having voting freedom. We are called to be back there. And I've committed 3 buses to leave from North Carolina this weekend. It's a turnaround trip. That means we're going to go and come back in the same day. But I'm committing 3 buses. 3 buses for us to fill up, to leave from North Carolina, to go down there and say, we will not be silent in our own destruction. We will not sit back and let you fool us into believing that our vote does not matter as you work harder to make it permanent that we can't exercise our vote. We are not going back to the plantation, be it proverbial or real. So if you are available this weekend, message me, get in touch with me, and let me know that you want a seat on one of those 3 buses. I hope we fill up all 3 of these buses and need more. And of course, the food will not cost you anything. The bus ride will not cost you anything. The only thing we're asking you to sacrifice is your time. Tell me you want to go and show these people that in this point of history, you're not fighting on behalf of slave owners or those who have slave owner mentality, but you're standing up for the least amongst us, and you refuse to be silent as they try to take away the Black vote, as they try to marginalize the Black vote. Church leaders, preachers, secretaries, Divine Nine members, Black organizations of any kind in the state of North Carolina, call me. I'm trying to fill up these 3 buses and get 3 or 10 more buses. We need to be busy in this moment doing the work of our people. This is what we're called to do. This is why we exist. Black people, if you care about Black people, get on these buses. Show up. Give 1 day to tell your kids that you are here for this. Bring your kids. Bring your elders. Fill these buses up. Fill these buses up. There's more information coming. There's more information coming, y'all. The 16th should not be a day for us to be silent. May 16th should be a day that North Carolina fills these buses and say, we saw what y'all did in the 1st district and how y'all did the 1st and 3rd congressional districts and try to draw the Black district out of existence. But Black people refuse to accept that. Fill these buses up. We need to fill these buses up. It is not okay. It is not okay for us to sit idle in this moment. This is our civil rights moment. Get in touch with me if you want to get on these buses. Let's fill these buses up. And all of those brothers who reached out to me, who I talked to, who are gang members, who say that you have something to offer, here's your time to prove it. Let the Bloods, the Crips, the folks, let everybody put down their problems in this moment and show up. Prove it is what I'm saying to everybody. Prove that you care about Black people. Prove that you can give more than a like or a love on social media. Show up. It ain't gonna cost you a thing, but it can mean the world. Not just for you, but for all of us. I love y'all, and I expect to see everybody. I expect to have more than 3 buses. This is our moment. I love y'all. I'll be back with more information later this evening and throughout the rest of this week. But we need to fill these buses up, and we need to show people this is our moment. Peace and blessing. I'll see y'all soon.